Welcome to episode 382 of the 3 Point Podcast. We're presented, as always, by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. Make sure to follow them on their Facebook page. Find out all that is good and happening at the Wellness Center. Also, our other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair, and ALS of Michigan. By the way, our sponsor spotlight today, Nichols Painting, over 30 years experience, residential or commercial, indoor or outdoor. Great results at an affordable price. Call or text Josh at Nichols Painting, 989-494-3244. Well, fellas, no real catch up other than we're catching up from last night. We're recording this Tuesday morning. Big Lions game. Why don't we just jump right into it? As impressive a performance by a defense. Troy Aikman even said it in the broadcast about the best defensive performance he ever saw. Kudos to that Lion D, man.
But before we get into the X's and O's, I mean, like you said, we're recording bright and early Tuesday after the game. Do you guys like the doubleheader Monday Night Football? Ted, you're traditionalist with, we've talked about baseball stuff before, with Monday Night Football. Do you like the doubleheader, especially with the Lions having it 7 o'clock? It didn't end at midnight, 1 in the morning. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I like it. I like it for sure. I mean, I was going to tell you off here while we were waiting for Jared to connect that I love the 7 o'clock start on a Monday night, man. And then the bonus is the second game.
Right. It's perfect. I mean, I don't love the 10 o'clock start, but as a Lions fan, the 7 p.m. is literally the perfect start for a football game. We see it on Saturdays, usually with like Notre Dame will play at 7:30. It feels like a lot of times. I loved it to me, but honestly, the bigger problem is it's a me problem. Maybe it's a sign I'm getting old. I don't really know. I can't stay up for these games anymore. Dude, this is the 2 primetime games we've had for the Lions. I've fallen asleep both times. And had to wake up and listen, like basically check the score, make sure they won twice. I can't stay up for it. And even though it's a 7 o'clock start, like I was sleeping by like 10 o'clock. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't know how you guys do it, to be honest.
Yeah, pace yourself. What are you doing the rest of the day? Are you like grinding away? Did you have to work? Like what was going on?
Yeah, I guess working. And then I don't know, man. It's like I had to work a little bit earlier today, but like this is I'm now on like a streak. Like I fell asleep during the 15-inning Tigers game. I fell asleep last time we were on Monday night or Sunday night, excuse me. I fell asleep last night. It's a serious problem. I used to always like look at my dad or whoever, people that would like go to bed in the middle of like a big game and think they're like literally lunatics. But now I'm that person. So that is what it is.
I think it's a Patel thing, to tell you the truth, Jared.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all. Yeah. I remember my dad definitely dozing off during late games and then, waking up in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Or what's the score? All right, here we go. And sometimes it'd be like, actually, that's not a bad idea. Baseball games is perfect. Sleep from like the 4th inning until the 7th and get yourself a good nap. But no, I mean, it was a great performance last night for sure.
Yeah, I don't know where that defense came from. I mean, the Bucs were so
literally don't know where that defense came from.
It's just like they're good for this once a year. It feels like we had that against the Vikings last year. It was like we're all of a sudden the best defense of all time. It seems like tonight. But the Bucs were severely banged up. I mean, that Mike Evans injury was just bizarre. I don't know what was going. They claimed at first they're claiming it's a hamstring. I'm like, it doesn't look like a hamstring. No. Then they're claiming it's a shoulder. It's like, it's probably a shoulder. And then obviously they came out and said it was concussion too. It just was a bizarre looking situation that on a play that maybe could have sparked the Buccaneers and got them rolling in that first half, but. I don't know. The guy has the coolest name of all time, like Sin. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That guy played great.
I think.
Yeah. It's like
Yasin,
one, he's got a Hall of Fame name. 2, we just picked this guy off the scrap heap and he's making plays. He had the one time where he was like Ted when we played kickball when I was a kid, where his hammy just was shot in play. Thank God Baker overshot him. But no, the defense, I can't get over it. Defense is looking good. Hutchinson is making plays. Forcing turnovers, which we talked about last year, that was something that we always did under Aaron Glenn, was force a lot of turnovers, and that's what they're doing. So, big time win. I mean, there's nobody in the NFC that scares me. I would take us over anybody in the NFC, and then when you get to the Super Bowl, take your chances. But I like where we're at. It's just about staying healthy.
Right.
100% on that. I mean, and again, what they patched together, Matt and I were talking off air just a little bit. I kind of expected it at the beginning of the game, but they carried it all the way through the game. You know, you were just kind of waiting for, okay, who's going to get burnt? And these guys, I mean, Mullet, Whiteside, Hallett, who are these guys?
Right.
I'd never heard of Mullet, man, and he made a play. I still don't know who the hell that guy is. I think he just threw on a jersey from the stands and went out and intercepted a pass. Like maybe he had a few beers in the stands before he went out there. But to me, the offense still seemed a little sputtery. It felt like maybe a year or two ago, like we would have probably been up like 28-0 heading into halftime. I don't know. It's hard to complain after a big Monday night win against a team that had the best record in the league. But I don't know. It just seems like there's still some last twist of the key that's missing with this offense that's going to unlock us and really make us like that team to beat in the NFC. What do you guys think that is? I don't know if it's the offensive line because we saw them opening some holes for Gibbs. I mean, what an electric play that was. Goff still seems maybe a little bit, not quite 100% used to this new offense, but J-Mo has hardly been involved. What do you guys think of the offense?
Yeah, it obviously doesn't look like what it did last year, when it was peak Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. I don't know if as good as the right side of the line is with Ratledge, the rookie, and obviously Penei Sewell, the left side of the line, Decker, he's a Lions legend. I mean, he's been there through the bad times and then through this rebuild, but he's banged up, first of all, but maybe he's starting to get to the end of the rope with Decker because he gets beat fairly often, and Mahogany, the left guard. So the left side of the line doesn't seem to be as strong as the right side. I think that's maybe a struggle that they're trying to figure out because like the run game, even though Gibbs went off last night, he hadn't had a game like that all season. He wasn't busting those long runs like he was the last couple of years. Montgomery hasn't really got things going much this year. So, I wonder if teams are really basically stacking up the box and saying, hey, we're going to stop the run and make Jared Goff beat us. And Todd Bowles, the Buccaneers coach, he's famous for, coaching defense and scheming up blitzes and stuff. And they were getting after Goff. I mean, I think they ended up with 4 or 5 sacks. They were pressuring him like crazy. And, we know the one criticism of Goff is when you can pressure him, when you can kind of get him off his spot, that's when he's not as accurate as he is all the other times. Like when he has time, play action is working, and his receiver, he's as good as anyone in the league. But if you can pressure him, he's not very mobile. Like and the Bucs were kind of doing that because they would get after him and he would miss throws. So it just seems like, is he still getting used to the new offensive coordinator? Maybe they're trying to figure some stuff out. Maybe they're trying to still figure out ways to get J-Mo involved, while also getting St. Brown the ball, while also trying to get Laporta the ball. They've got a lot of people to get the ball to. So maybe they're still trying to figure all that out. So that was, like you said, Jared, after a big Monday night win, heading into a bye week with the patchwork defense, it's hard to be like upset or, critical of anything. But the offense was a little bit like, man, this could have been 35-0. It feels like you could have won this game by 30. So that would maybe be the one, like, the offense during this bye week hopefully gets a little bit figured out.
Yeah, you hit on some good points there, and there's no question that Goff is way more effective in real, play action. So they've got to clean up what they run on first down a little bit more, I think. If they can get a 5 or 6 yard gain, then that sets up the whole offense. And they weren't getting that a lot. And, some of that did have to do with maybe the left side. But if they can get back in that mode, I mean, Goff can pick teams apart as long as they're not expecting. If he has to wait for pressure to come, you're right. I mean, it's like any other quarterback, they're gonna struggle. But I don't have a lot of concerns on the offense. I think they'll get it cleaned up. I think the bye week's perfect time right now for this organization. They can get ready for the next stretch run, and they got some pretty tough games on the schedule. But I'm just glad they got out of it 5-2. I mean, and again, can't say enough for their defensive coordinator. I mean, he's done a great job, Shepard, getting these guys ready to go. I mean, look at the stats that the Bucs had: 4 of 16 on 3rd down. Okay, 2 of 5 on 4th down. I mean, and one of the plays of the game. How'd this go the Lions' way? It never goes the Lions' way. The double review, and they get the ball back.
Yeah. So when I was at work today, somebody was explaining this to me because I was obviously asleep. What the hell happened? It made almost no sense. A double review. I was kind of complex on what that even was.
Well, like from what I understand, so like there was the play, and the Lions wanted to review the catch.
Yeah, they challenged it.
They challenged the catch, and then in that review, the refs also got back together to review the spot. So that's what made it like a double review. And like Ted said, usually that's 100% that goes against the Lions. So for that to happen in favor of the Lions, it kind of felt weird. But even on the broadcast, I mean, it was a little odd. But Aikman and Buck, they were saying they got the call correct. Like, it's one of those things. If this happened against the Lions, we'd be sitting here right now complaining about it. I mean, I think we did that. But if you're going to have review, the point is to get the call correct. You know, like so. In the review of what the Lions challenged, the spot, because they gave the dude the first down, and it clearly was not a first down. So they got the call correct. Like, I think that's the bigger thing. It was just the fact that it was like you said, a double review that kind of felt weird. And then even another one, the interception where it was who got that interception where he stole it away from the tight end.
Mullet, right?
Yeah. That's another like it was the correct call. But it was one of those that seemed like we're going to get boned in this. Like, they're going to review it and be like, nope, catch to the Buccaneers. But they called it correctly, an interception for the Lions. So it was a feeling of like, this is weird. These plays are going in the Lions' favor. Like, this usually does not happen.
Yeah. And a third one was a non-call where Mayfield got sacked because the Lion defensive lineman tripped him.
Right. He kind of even whiffed. He didn't even like he stuck his leg out and whiffed, and that they were even like, "Oh, that's as obvious a tripping call as there is," and they just didn't call it. But no, I mean, you know, okay, there's a few plays, and Baker Mayfield in the press conference after the game. I don't know if you guys saw a clip,
I didn't see that yet.
He was going off. He was complaining. He was saying, you know, there was multiple plays, you know, that the refs kind of affected, or you know, calls that were head scratchers, you know, whatever you want to say. Which, I mean, he's going to do that. That's what, you know, players do after the loss or whatever. And, you know, I think that's fair because we were saying the same thing last week after the Chiefs game. But that aside, kind of what you guys have already said, Calvin Shepard, the Lions defensive coordinator, I mean, he deserved a game ball after that because of this. I've heard analysts say, like, a lot of times with football, it's scheme over players. You got to have the players, of course, but a lot of times it's the scheme. The coach has to put the players in position to succeed. And actually, Derek Barnes, you know, the famous Dan Campbell locker room videos, I watched it this morning.
It was awesome.
Campbell gave Derek Barnes a game ball, and Derek Barnes gave his to Kelvin Shepard and said, like, Coach Shepard put us in position to succeed. So I don't want to – Aaron Glenn was fantastic with the Lions, and good for him for getting a head coaching job, but I almost feel like we won that one. And,
it feels like the defense hasn't missed a beat. The offense, maybe you're like, we're still trying to find our footing. And ironically, the Bears are looking pretty solid. The Jets are horrible. So it kind of lines up in that way as well. I buried the lead on this with yesterday. So this was hell. So basically, my girlfriend went to a concert in downtown Detroit at Fox Theater for Cage the Elephant. At LCA, there's a Mumford & Sons concert, which apparently the Mumford & Sons lead singer was like at the Lions game and then left as soon as the Lions game was over, went right to his show. And then obviously there's Lions Monday Night Football going on at the same time. So these are all 7 o'clock starts. And I agreed to give him a ride there and then pick him up like you know, whatever, a few months ago when I heard about the concert. Then I started realizing like what all was going on in downtown Detroit. I'm like, this is going to be hell. And then it was told to me right as I was going to like take her, oh yeah, the Lions game is at 7, not 8 o'clock tonight. I was like, oh my God. So I'm driving them down, her and a friend, and it's like, it's bumper to bumper traffic. Like it took me, what's normally like a 25-minute drive to downtown Detroit was like 50 minutes. And I'm just like fuming. Like, I'm not doing this. And that was what I said, like on my way there, I'm like, I am not picking you up. Like we're not going to be home till like 3 a.m. if I come and pick you up after this. Like I've sat in the Lions traffic before. It's hell. So I just dropped them off. And I'm like, yep, not coming to get you. And like, I still don't know how they got back. Like, I was like, dude, because I told him, like, check an Uber ride on the way there. Like, this is at like 4 p.m. It's like $100 for like this Uber ride. Like, dude, this is gonna be like $400 like for you guys later tonight. Like, I couldn't like, I was like worried about them, and I don't even think they cared. Like, that was all I could think about. Like on this ride, and I'm like, you guys are gonna be screwed after this concert. Like, you're not gonna have any way to get back. They somehow got back. But what weird planning to me. I mean, it was a cool night downtown, but I mean, that's like a zillion people within like a mile of each other at those three venues. Like, it was a nightmare for me. I wouldn't have been able to even enjoy the Lions game or the concert. I just would have been thinking about how there's no way I'm like getting out of here like in a timely manner.
Especially it being, I mean, you can't control Monday Night Football is what it is. It's Monday Night Football. But to put two concerts on a Monday night, I mean, people will still go. I mean, your girlfriend and her friend went, and the shows, I think I saw both the shows were sold out. Obviously, Ford Field was. It's a ton of people downtown Detroit. But right on a Monday night, it is just kind of odd. But I'm sure maybe they just wanted to maximize on that. Hey, Monday Night Football's here. Let's schedule a couple concerts too and really just go crazy downtown. But yeah, I mean, you guys – You talked about it a little bit before. The patchwork defense, I think a lot of guys earned some roster spots last night. I mean, would you say like these dudes that they're just bringing in? I don't know how you can like now cut them loose. I mean, obviously when the starters come back, they're the starters. But I think a lot of dudes took advantage of their opportunity. And like one of them, you know, we've had friend of the podcast, Ryan Brady, the head coach at Saginaw Valley State, who pulled an upset over Grand Valley State last week.
Right.
A huge win. First win at Lubber Stadium for Saginaw Valley since 2003.
I think the first win in 12 games for SVSU.
First win in 12 games over GVSU. The one in 2003, I remember that because that was my freshman year, and that was when it was like peak GVSU. And SVSU comes in and beats GVSU at home. That was like, what is this? Anyway, Nick Whiteside, defensive back for the Lions last night, played for Saginaw Valley, played for Ryan Brady, undrafted D2 guy. They basically bring him in off the street, and he come in and he had a hell of a game. I mean, his PFF grades were like one of the best DBs in the NFL this past weekend because of the way he played. So that's just another dude that I think you got to keep on the roster now because he earned that spot. So it's crazy to think because Baker Mayfield most people were saying he was the MVP coming in. I was expecting kind of like what you said. Maybe it'll be a hot start at the beginning, and then Baker kind of figures it out, and it's going to be a shootout. That defense balled out, so that was kind of unexpected, but awesome for sure.
Before we get off the NFL and the Lions, I had one question I've had in my notes for the last few weeks that I'm a little confused on. Didn't they go to this virtual measurement line that they were supposed to institute? First of all, they didn't use it last night for that call, which I was surprised on that. And then the other thing that I'm scratching my head on is, what is the point of it if it's not in the tip of the football? That's where you need to know where the ball is, right? What was wrong with the chains? I mean, how inaccurate were those? Those were accurate as hell. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy we still do that. Well, what's funny is I don't know. I thought we went to the virtual measurement as well, but we still kept the chain gain out there, which I'm like, these guys got to be standing on the sideline. Like we're literally we're pointless. We're basically just like window dressing on this football game
in the house.
Yeah, it'd be a great job. That would be an all-time great job. Probably get paid pretty damn good for it too, I would imagine. But I'm with you. I don't know why it's taken so long for that technology to take place, but I haven't seen it used either. So. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe there's a glitch in the technology. Maybe it's like you said. Why is it in the middle of the football, not on the edge? But yeah, I haven't seen it either. Have you, Matt? I don't know what the deal is with it.
I remember hearing that. It's kind of funny that you bring that up because I saw something. I mean, now it's been a week or two ago that it hasn't worked as planned. There's been a lot of glitches, and they've tried to use it, but it's not accurate. And I remember, Jared, I don't know if you've noticed in games that you've worked, but like we always have to calibrate those cameras before we do a game. Calibrating the 1st and 10 is part of the whole transmission and setting everything up. And sometimes it just doesn't work. I mean, it's just crazy to think 2025 technology. I mean, we're doing a podcast, all over the country type of thing. And, it's working, but like sometimes it just doesn't work. And I remember, it was like a week or two ago, I read an article that this virtual line measurement, it's not working as they planned. And it's hard. It was saying it was like hard to basically troubleshoot it in season. So like, they're going to keep using it. Like, hopefully it works, but clearly like last night, they're still using the chain gang as kind of the primary line of measurement. So maybe this offseason, they'll really go after and try and figure out this technology. Because you watch a tennis match, and they do a challenge in tennis, boom, it shows the ball out of bounds, done, and you move on. Like it's just crazy that we're still using a guy with a chain.
It makes sense why it may be a little tougher because, like, you think about first down, like that line is always moving. Whereas tennis, it's like, all right, calibrate it once, and you don't have to do it again.
Yep.
It is, but I mean, you see, like, there's not a stone unturned in these NFL games, really college too. It is kind of like let's get some smart people on this damn calibration. Let's get rid of the chain gain. It's time to make that change.
The NFL has the money to do it.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I mean, we could put people on freaking Mars and in the moon. I mean, we can't figure out a calibration for a first down marker. Like, we've got to figure that out.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep this thing moving. Let's take a little break, and then we'll be back, talk a little college football right after this. All right, guys, at the big house, Michigan took care of business against Washington 24-7. Thoughts on the game?
It's a good win. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I feel like an idiot just kind of riding the waves. That's football. That's this season. I'm not going to put too much into that win. We need to see it against a good team. Yeah. But the reality is of the schedule is it's pretty easy. And we're going to go into Ohio. We should, if we take care of business this week, we should be going into an Ohio State game against a team that we've beat 4 straight times and clearly have a mental edge over, like with a chance to make the playoff. So it's like, it's as weird and as maybe frustrating of a season as it's been. The season's still out in front of them, and with a easy schedule like we have, like, it's going to come down to Ohio State. You would hope. I mean, with Michigan State, and you never take it for granted. I mean, they're going to be playing inspired. Honestly, if I was Michigan State, we've been hearing a lot of talk about Jonathan Smith. If I was them, I would have pulled the trigger on him this week and had a Michigan State team fired up and inspired, like we've seen with UCLA coming into Michigan. That would have terrified me. Now, if you're a Michigan fan, which I still don't think they're going to fire Smith unless it's really bad against Michigan, like, wouldn't it be pretty sweet if you just sent Jonathan Smith packing after a drubbing at home at Spartan Stadium? Like, that would be my motivation if I'm on that Michigan staff and on that Michigan team. Let's like embarrass this team and let's send them packing. But nothing gets the blood boiling and nothing gets you ready for football like a Michigan State rivalry week. Right. It's outside Ohio State. It's pretty damn close to that Ohio State week, but it's awesome. This is football at its best, no matter how good or bad the teams are.
It's the local hatred, right? I mean, I'm a little disconnected from it now, obviously living outside of the state, but you guys see it every day when you're out and about on the town or whatever, the Michigan State people. And it does on social media, on Twitter, wherever you see the hatred starts to come out during this week, even when Michigan State, what did I see? 14.5 is the line.
Is that what the spread?
I think,
man, you'd think you'd like Michigan State, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, even when that's the line in East Lansing, so Vegas is saying this is going to be a blowout, basically. Michigan State fans are still going to get riled up because of the rivalry. Oh, yeah. So it's cool to see. Isn't that basically how Michigan sent Mark D'Antonio? They kind of ended Mark D'Antonio's career. It was that Shea Patterson game where we beat Michigan State like 49-0 or something crazy like that. And that was like the end of the game. They didn't fire him right after the game, but that was when Michigan State fans were like, yep, D'Antonio's done. So who knows? Maybe this game could do that for Jonathan Smith.
They did it to the Bobby Williams era. I know that. Yeah, after he got drubbed by Michigan, he was.
And that's what's. And I think State fans are so out on Jonathan Smith that it's like if he beat Michigan, it's kind of like how we feel with Sherrone Moore. I don't think any of us are like he is the best coach in the country, but if he's beating Ohio State every year, it's like how do you like? I don't care if he went 1-11. As long as he's beating Ohio State, it's like you really can't get rid of him. And I think it's kind of similar to Jonathan Smith at Michigan State. If he beats Michigan, how do you get rid of this guy? Like that is a Super Bowl in a sense. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of intrigue to this game. I really am like, it feels like a must-win game for both programs, or at least you can't have a terrible showing. Like if you're Michigan State, you can't lose, but you can't not cover that spread. You got to keep it within a touchdown, within 10. You got to keep the crowd engaged the whole way. You can't be down, 21-3 at halftime and they're booing and they're emptying it out. It's like, that's when you know Smith is gone. Right. But yeah, I don't know. Did you guys put too much into the Washington game? It just was a solid performance. I mean, this team is light years different when they're at home versus when they're on the road. So I think we're going to see at Spartan Stadium, maybe they're going to be a little bit more shaky, but they're getting it done against the bad teams. And with this schedule, if you can upset Ohio State, you're in. So it's you feel decent with where we're at for as weird of a season as it's been.
It's a good thing they had the Marshals in that game. That's for sure. It was martial law in Ann Arbor, if you will. I mean, Jordan Marshall, 133 and a touchdown, and Zach Marshall, 5 catches, another touchdown. Yeah, it was solid game, solid win. But they got to get it done against Michigan State. I will tell you this. this will probably be the last time I'm going to bring this up. You know, you look at somebody like Cignetti, right? Signs this mega contract at 64 years old. He's rebuilt Indiana without a doubt. If I'm Michigan State, and I'm not saying this because we're close with the program and I don't necessarily want him to leave, but there happens to be a coach in Big Rapids, basically the same age as Cignetti. If I'm Michigan State and I want to make a real splash and really roll the dice, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would for sure have a conversation. And number two, I wouldn't hesitate whatsoever to hire the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree. I think we're
Right.
all on the same page. I mean, Jared, you were about to agree. When you say splash, I still wonder. We all are on board, and Tony Annese is one of the best coaches in all of football at whatever level you want to say. I don't know if the bigger picture people would see that as a splash.
You're probably right. That might be
they
the
would
wrong
probably still
word.
see it as, oh, this guy from D2, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Yeah.
Cignetti type hire. Like, who
Right.
is this guy? Like, we
Right.
got to see. Like,
Right.
Yep.
And I think, the age thing comes into play. One, would Tony want to do that and rebuild Michigan State? He'd be coming in. Maybe he'd bring a ton of people from Ferris State with him, kind of like Signetti did.
100%.
Brought all the James Maddox, bring a bunch of Ferris dudes to East Lansing,
Coaches.
get some other coaches, and rebuild it. The conversation, it should be worth a conversation
Yes.
at least, and see what the interest is, and see how long do you still want to coach, and
Right.
all of those things, because of what we've said a million times in here. He's been successful everywhere he's coached, so it'd be worth a shot. Because I always think too, who else are you going to bring in? All right, you're
Right.
firing Jonathan Smith, but people are saying James Franklin. James Franklin's not going to East Lansing. If when he's going somewhere in the SEC, it would be my guess anyway. People keep
Florida,
throwing out
maybe.
Urban Meyer, and it's like Urban Meyer's not going to Michigan State. Like, what are we doing here? You need to maybe go after someone like a Tony Annese. It'd be interesting for sure.
It's like and I'm with you. You're preaching to the choir about the Tony Annese thing. Here's the thing: State fans, and I love State fans, and I even went to Spartan Stadium a couple weeks ago, and I was like pleasantly surprised. Like, this gets a bad rap. Actually, that was a pretty sweet little stadium. Could use a renovation for sure, but and then you're walking Michigan State's campus with all the tailgating. I'm like, man, I should have went here for college.
Beautiful.
I would never have been a State fan, but would have loved to experience what East Lansing can bring. But they are so over exaggerating. That's not the right word, but who they think they can get as a head coach. I talk to State fans. I mean, we're in it here where we live. Like, they think that they're getting Kenny Dillingham. They thought they were getting Urban Meyer a couple cycles ago. It's like they have no real reality of what their program is. Probably maybe top 30, top 35. You're not getting, they're throwing out these top guys on the market. You're not getting them. So it's like they would turn their nose up at the idea of Tony Annese. That's the reality, which is crazy because I do, ironically, he's the best coach for the job.
Yeah.
If he can coach football, I don't care about the other bull crap that comes with it. That guy can turn a team around and coach and win football games. We've seen it at every level.
He doesn't lose.
Right.
He does
So
not lose.
So instead, they'll make some swing on some guy that the media will grade as a home run hire when it's probably not. It'll be so it's just not going to work. The only name to me that makes sense, and this is reality. I don't think they're firing Jonathan Smith this year. I really don't think that.
So
the only way they do it is this week. To me, it's like if I was preaching to Michigan State team, if I'm Jonathan Smith, I'm message my life is in your guys' hands this week. If we play good, if we look good, even if we lose, if it's a back and forth game, I don't think he's going to get fired. I think they're going to give him one more year. So we keep talking about this coaching carousel. I really don't think he's out, in my opinion. Now, and I say Michigan State football is not a good job. Michigan State basketball, when Tom Izzo eventually retires, it's a top 10 job. They can go get whoever they want. It's like a Michigan football. So it's different. It's just Michigan State football is not that, especially when Tom Izzo is still there. I'm at the game. He's walking the sidelines. And we love Tom Izzo. And he's great for Michigan State University, but that's a basketball school. And I think it's a tough job for anybody to take, really. Even I'm thinking about Dillingham and what he's building at ASU. What in God's green earth would compel him to go to Michigan State and try to rebuild it there in East Lansing? You got the thing rolling in Scottsdale, Arizona, Tempe. It's awesome. You don't have a basketball coach that's an icon that you're competing against for, NIL money, for all that type of stuff. I just don't think Michigan State is that great of a job, if I'm being honest, at this point in time.
It's a, like you said, top 30, top 35, which isn't a bad. It's not like a shot. You're in the Big Ten. If you can rebuild your program, you can always be in the mix for a Big Ten championship, and then hopefully a college football championship. But at least where they sit right now, it's not on the level of the top Big Ten teams. Oregon, Ohio State, even Penn State, Michigan. It's just not. Yeah. And that's not being a hater. That's not being anything. And like to that point, the football facility is named after Tom Izzo. I know that, he's the legend there and stuff, but that, at least to me, in my opinion, whatever that means, it sends a bad vibe when a head coach for a football team comes in and your football facility is named after the basketball coach. It just makes me think I will never be the number one priority here. I just won't be with NIL and everything like you talked about. I get Izzo's the legend. I understand all that. He donated the money. He did all that. So it should be named after him. But for that to be the football facility, and then you're competing with Oregon, even USC now, Michigan, Indiana with Signetti, Penn State, eventually, why, stay at Arizona State, stay at a program like that where you can, win your conference out there and make the playoff out there. So I think it would make sense for Michigan State to go after someone like Tony Annese or a little more unknown.
Right. Exactly.
But I was going to say that it seems like the guy that is logical is the coach at Georgia Tech, who has the ties to the Michigan State athletic director and has turned that program around. I don't know if they can compete with what Georgia Tech will add. Yeah.
I know it just, again, it's unless it's just money speaks, and you're thinking about, if you're Michigan State, you got to pay $35 million to Jonathan Smith in a buyout. Who knows what's going to happen to the Mel Tucker? Let's just say that's probably another $20 million. Right. It's I don't know if you're a state. That's what I mean. Where it's they might just ride this guy at least one more year, hope somehow he can turn around, because that's a lot of money in a school that's not super elite when it comes to NIL. They're up there, but not, they're not Michigan, who just has a billionaire donor, just writes blank checks, So it's, to me, I would wait it out and see. I don't think he's the guy for the job. I think we talked about that ad nauseum, but man, a win over Michigan this week would do a lot.
Sure would.
Are you guys nervous at all?
I will be interested. Yeah, well, I think that's what you were going to say. I'll be interested to see the game, because the one area I think is Aiden Childs. I think the Michigan State offense could potentially put up some points, especially in East Lansing, a night game. Weird stuff just happens in those games, with Michigan and Michigan State. So now Childs has also been very up and down. So he turns the ball over too. So you don't know which direction it's going to go with him. I'll be curious to see the Michigan State offense against Michigan's defense. Wink Martindale, is he going to dial it up? And he did well against Washington. I think this is a big game for Bryce Underwood too. He's been playing well. His numbers aren't crazy insane, but he's playing just good, solid football.
He's been getting a little bit better every week, it seems like.
Right.
He has one thing he has to really work on, and that's the short swing passes. He's got to take a little velocity off of it.
Yeah, he throws a fastball.
That Samaj Morgan play from last week, I don't know. It was a little bit behind him. Yeah, he probably has a little bit more of a fastball. Those throws are tough. They run so many of those damn bubble screens, and those are so dependent on pinpoint accuracy, where they can catch and run, where if it's a little bit behind or a little bit off target or a little bit off timing, it's blown up for -3 yards. Right. So to me, it's those are tough throws that you kind of just say, oh, they're easy to complete, but I don't know for how much they run those and how basically the defense is just coming up, waiting for them. It's got to be pinpoint. So I'm with you though. He can make the throws, and when he's outside the pocket and there's a defender in his face and he's finding ways around him to hit those kind of out routes, it's he's impressive. He had one throw in that Washington game where I was standing down in the field, and it's wow, I don't know how the hell he just made that. Because when I'm watching the game when I'm at Michigan, usually what I do is I'll watch the quarterback throw the ball, and then I'll flip my eyes up to the scoreboard to see how it ends up, and it's he's getting sacked and tackled as he whips this line drive, and he gets through 2-3 defenders. That was an NFL play. He still can take I think we're still kind of waiting for that moment that makes you go wow, and I think we could see it this week. For maybe kind of like in Nebraska where he had that long touchdown run. It's is he going to drop a bomb on Michigan State? Is he going to maybe take off for a 50-yard touchdown run? It would be awesome, man. But tell me you can't picture this scenario. Let's say we lose this game. Michigan State fans are you guys lost to a team we don't even want to win, and you guys lost to you have this number one recruit, you have all this NIL money. It would be a nightmare. So
And
I
that's
love
exactly
the night,
what would
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking forward to a night game at Spartan Stadium. Like you said, it seems like things just kind of get weird in this rivalry, especially at Spartan Stadium at night. People were complaining about the night start. I like it. To me, it's like, let's do it. I think things get weird. I think it should be an awesome primetime game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's perfect for me, and it kind of segues into the next topic. It's a 7:30 start, Michigan State. By the way, I think first initial thought, I think the Spartans cover, but Michigan wins. But it could go the other way too. But that's just my initial thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7:30 game. So as long as they still let me have my credential after I brought up the topic about Tony possibly leaving, I'm gonna go to the game on Saturday for sure. Yeah,
I didn't know you had a credential to Spartan Stadium.
No credential for Ferris.
Oh, you're going to Ferris. Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't want him to yank it from me. So
right.
Yeah.
It does set up perfectly what you're talking about. The Anchor Bone Classic, the Ferris GVSU game at Ferris, afternoon. 1 o'clock kick, and then you can make it.
Kick. Yep.
Make it either home or whatever you're going to do for the Michigan State game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that Anchor Bone Classic is going to be a good one. Ferris State's just been absolutely blowing everyone out. Overall, number one in D2. I mean, they're just blowing everyone out. And GVSU just slipped up to SVSU. So, is that going to happen again, or is GVSU going to? The GVSU needs to win this game. I mean, after losing that game last week, so I'll be interested to see that one and Wyatt's been killing it, like we've been talking about.
Totally killing it. He had he counted for 4 touchdowns in that game against Tech. He's rated the number 1 quarterback in D2. And after we watched Trinidad on Saturday, big time atmosphere at Georgia. He played great. Didn't quite get it done down the stretch, but still had a great game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. And you talk about the GVSU game against Saginaw. I did have to bring this up. It ended the Cardinals' 12-game losing streak, as you guys said earlier. It was one of those really strange games when I looked at the recap. Cardinals kicked 3 field goals, returned a block extra point for 2 points, and were awarded a safety on an intentional grounding. And then Ryan Brady's Cards scored the lone touchdown with 3:06 left on a 41-yard run by Mason McKenzie. I mean, they just got it done, right?
Got it done.
Huge win, man. Huge win for Ferris. I'm excited for that game too. Saginaw Valley versus Ferris. You wonder with Grand Valley if, when I was at college, they had Matt Mitchell as the head coach, and sometimes you just wonder, maybe we jumped the gun a little bit on firing this guy. What Anise and Ferris have right now, it's who is going to compete with them? It was like Urban Meyer and Ohio State. It was we were judging Harbaugh so hard because he couldn't beat Ohio State and Urban Meyer. Maybe just that program really had it rolling with the right head coach at the right time with the right talent. That's why I think maybe they might have jumped the gun a little bit early on moving on from Matt Mitchell at Grand Valley. I don't know who the coach is now, but he didn't lose to Saginaw Valley. I'll tell you that much. So,
right.
And it's cool to see. It's funny when you see these teams like Mason McKenzie. He was from Caledonia, quarterback. Wyatt Bauer, obviously Corona. GVSU's 2 quarterbacks are Michigan kids. I think Andrew Schuster, who was at Chippewa Valley, and Brady Drogosh, who was at De La Salle. So that's my favorite part about watching these D2 games is seeing all the talent and how these guys pull a lot of their talent from Michigan and seeing these guys play on Saturdays. So that's the cool part to me.
Well, I'm sure Coach Ryan Brady had to feel extra specially happy after beating his alma mater. That was, a big win for the Cardinals. All right, let's take another short break. We'll be back to wrap up the podcast with a little bit of potpourri right after this. All right, guys, just a few quick thoughts here as we wind down the stretch. First of all, the Lions game last night was fantastic, and then flipped it over to watch the end of the baseball game, Game 7, the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Mariners ended up winning it 4-3. George Springer, a late 3-run homer to punch their ticket to the World Series, and Vlad Guerrero, after a slow start, really cranked it on to be the ALDS MVP. But I was pulling for the Mariners, to be honest with you. But I think the Blue Jays possibly can give the Dodgers a little bit of a test. But I don't know what the odds are in Vegas. But Dodgers are just so good.
They're stacked. The Blue Jays have the lineup that could definitely compete with the Dodgers pitching. But Jared, I guess you were sleeping, so you probably didn't see.
No.
But the atmosphere in Toronto was insane. I mean, it's the first time they've made it to the World Series since '93 when they won the World Series on a walk-off. Joe Carter. So I mean, they've been waiting for something like this. I mean, 30 plus years. So I mean, the atmosphere there in Toronto was incredible. And playoff baseball, I mean, it was cool. Of course, we still wish it was the Tigers making those plays, but I think it could be a really good World Series, Dodgers and Blue Jays.
Hope so. Hope so.
Well, when you got Shohei Ohtani, it's like, I mean, how unreal was
Right.
that performance the other day with 3 home runs and whatever he pitched amazing as well, 10 strikeouts. Is that guy a little underrated in terms of like popularity? It is kind of like, well, obviously, to me in the United States, it's like for how good he is, it's like, and he seems very likable. It's like, it seems like he should be a bigger star. He should be talked about more than he's like. He had that performance, and if you watch any of the national talk shows, it's like they still probably didn't get to it until maybe like hour 2, like because they're talking about football. Like I don't know. I mean, what we're seeing is like maybe the best player ever, and
maybe.
We weren't even really going to mention it if I didn't bring it up. It's like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a problem with our pod. It just seems like for whatever reason, this guy's not connecting like he probably should be for how good he is.
Right.
Probably a little bit of it's the language thing, you know. I mean, he's not out there pitching Pepsi or any of this other stuff, you know, and out in the public eye, but he's about as good as it gets. I agree with that.
And it doesn't help either. I mean, it is what it is. There is an East Coast bias when it comes to sports. I mean, he's on the Dodgers. The Dodgers are as big as the Yankees and the Red Sox, but all of his games, you know, for the most part, are at 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast, you know. So, like, even though we all know Shohei Ohtani, you know, we follow baseball, we know him, there's probably still a lot of people that they hear about this guy, but they've never watched him until maybe now, you know, in the playoffs. So I think there's that side to it too. But I mean, yeah, to be that good of a pitcher, I mean, Ted, you're obviously going to say like Babe Ruth. To be that good of a pitcher and that good of a hitter is it's an anomaly. It just never happens, you know. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy to see. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and have a nice long career because it's fun to watch.
Man, he hit some bombs in that game the other night. Man, he's got power. Hey, I got to throw this one more time. We talked about it the last pod a little bit, but now it's really cranking into gear. All this Tarik Skubal talk, right? If you're the general manager, you know, he's going to be 29 November 20th. And, you know, I'm looking at some of the salaries. You got to throw out Ohtani. He makes $70 million a year, but he's a two-way player. But Zach Wheeler, he makes $42 million. He's a 35-year-old. DeGrom, 37. He makes $37 million, and it goes on. If you are Scott Harris and the Detroit Tigers, he has a big dilemma, boys. Now, with that dilemma, what is the ideal time if you're not going to sign him for the kind of money he's going to demand, which we know is going to be outrageous? It's not necessarily the annual salary; it's the years is what they have to balk on. What do you do? Where do you have the most power when you're dealing with these other major league teams? Is it now in the off season? Is it at the trade deadline, or do you just roll the dice? I mean, what do you do if you're the GM, in your opinion?
Well, with the history of Scott Harris, we saw with Eduardo Rodriguez. I feel like every year we bitch about what he did at the deadline. To me, it's you got to get it done in the offseason. It's like it's going to loom over the season the entire time if we keep him. It sucks. I mean, I get it's a business. You know, I understand why Tarik Skubal is doing it. Like, why would he not test free agency and basically probably get another $100 million just by testing free agency rather than signing with us this offseason? So I get it, but he's going to go to free agency. We're not getting him back. So you got to get this deal done now in the offseason, in my opinion. Head into spring training with what your new roster will look like. Because, in other words, I think it's just going to be all we talk about all year. Whenever he has a good start, it's going to – like, we're already talking about it. You know, we've already been talking about it for the last year. It's like, I'm over it. It's time to either somehow lock him in a room and find some way to get this deal done and keep him, or you just got to deal him and live with the results of it. Yeah. But I think the time is now to answer your question. You got to do it in the offseason.
Yeah, because, I mean, you wouldn't think they're going to all of a sudden offer him the money he wants in the middle of the season. So, you know, you either got to do it now or, I mean, next year he's going to be a free agent when the Dodgers, the Padres, the Red Sox, the Yankees can offer him $800 million or whatever. And, we'll see. Is it the right thing to do? Because you just never know how these long contracts are going to play out. They gave Miggy, you know, there's plenty of examples. They gave Miggy the long contract. Obviously, on the front end, it was good. The back end of that contract, I mean, we love Miggy, but, you know, he obviously wasn't really playing much on the back end. So are you going to give Skubal, who's already had Tommy John surgery, a 10-year deal? I don't know. I mean, Scherzer and Verlander pitched really well, and you just listed off a bunch of other guys. Kershaw pitched really well. late into their 30s, so like you could say Skubal still has a good 10 years in him. But, you don't know because he's already had the injury history and he doesn't even pitch over 99 pitches in the playoffs, so like it's risky and you're going to give him that money because then that hinders the other contracts you can give.
I got to be honest, that last game kind of put me in a funky mood, man, just by watching him just put it this way, watching his reaction compared to Max Scherzer's.
Right.
I'll take Scherzer any day of the week with that kind of attitude. I don't know what goes on. It's just a bad optic to me. So my final opinion on it is I'm totally fine if they re-sign him. I don't care how much the money is. It's not my money.
Your money.
We'll see it. We'll see some residue with price of beer and everything else. But it's not
I will be honest, like these baseball deals, and that's why we're probably heading to a lockout. If I'm Illich, I'm like, dude, I see when it's not he's not Shohei Ohtani, he's not LeBron James. It's like not when Tarek Skubal pitching, it's not like it's sold out crowd and it's going nuts. Like you're never recouping that money, really, unless you win a World Series, probably.
Exactly.
So it is kind of like I almost give Guy respect. It's like, why the hell would I do this deal? Like to me, it doesn't make sense to me. If I'm the Illich, and I don't know the rules of the salary cap and that sort of thing. Maybe that is the issue with hockey. But like you look at the hockey contracts, I'm like, why would you not just like put all of our chips into the Red Wings and like let's go make the best team we can? Because you make a superstar Red Wings team, it's like the same as one Tarek Skubal. It's like I don't know, and that's a kind of a high thought, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that I definitely agree with you because if they could build the Red Wings back up to what they were in the 90s and early 2000s, I mean. LCA would be sold out for every Red Wings.
It is, even when they suck. Yeah.
Right. So it just goes to show how much people love their hockey in Detroit. I will be if they don't sign him and say hopefully they're in the playoff mix next year. But if they're not in the playoff mix at the deadline, would they try to move him at the deadline? And assuming he's not going to get re-signed in the offseason, talking about Tarek Skubal, that could be interesting. Hopefully they're in the playoff mix and we don't even have to talk about that. But if they're not.
I'm pretty positive we're going to go through the year and he's just going to walk. Like that's just my read.
I'd take a bullet, man. I'd just say no. You got to get it figured out before the season starts. Either he signs or you trade him now, because if you wait till the deadline, you're not going to get the same package you would in the offseason here. And that's what I mean. I saw some package of the Mets. They've got like a couple top prospect pitchers with some other solid players for Skubal. It wouldn't kill me, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but you got to do it in the off season. You can't let it go to the trade deadline or ride the year out and lose him completely, because you go to free agent. We've all agreed he's not coming back. There's no way they're going to pay the top dollar at that point. Right. So anyway, let's move on because we'll just wrap it up with this. You brought up the Red Wings. Dylan Larkin had a couple goals and a couple assists last night, 4-2 win. They've won 5 straight after an opening loss. I mean, things are cranking up pretty good right now for the Red Wings.
Yeah, it's pretty. They've started hot last year as well. So you just hope that you got to keep it rolling. I like the head coach McClellan. I think he's a good coach. I like the cut of his jib. Calling them all out after the game one. Like, you guys are gonna keep talking about how we can fix it. Like, either fix it or don't. Like, this is your guys' problem. Fix it. So I like McClellan. To me, it's like I can't wait for Pistons basketball. The only thing to me is I don't understand what the deal is with Beasley. People are telling me, like, even if he's cleared, like, we're not going to re-sign him. Like, we moved on without him with Duncan Robinson to Karis LeVert. To me, it's like, let's bring this guy back. What does it hurt?
Right.
I don't know. We talk about money, and he'd be like $15 million a year roughly for a 3-year deal. It's like, I think he's worth it, but I can't wait for the Pistons season this year. I think they're going to be a legitimate threat to win the East. I think Asar Thompson's going to take a big step forward. I think Cade Cunningham's going to take a step forward, like we've seen him do last year. I'm just very excited for Pistons basketball for the most part. An opening night tomorrow night.
Yeah. No, especially with the East being completely wide open. I mean, with the Celtics all banged up and some other teams in transition. Yeah, the Pacers. The Knicks are still there, but I don't know. I'm not totally sold on the Knicks. The big thing with the Pistons, like with any team we just talked about, is health. Jaden Ivey, just got surgery again. So that kind of sucks because we all kind of said he would have been a big piece in the playoffs last year to have. And now he just had surgery again. He was supposed to be coming back. So hopefully this is just a few-week thing, and then he will be back for the rest of the season. But no.
Seems to be injury-prone.
Yeah, he seems to get banged up. So, but no, if like we've said, if Cade Cunningham now takes that next step to really superstar status, I mean, the Pistons definitely could be one of the top teams in the East.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Pistons start Wednesday night at the Bulls. The NBA starts tonight. A couple big games on NBC. I mean, it's going to be an
NBC.
interesting transition this year to see how it goes. But the Rockets at the Thunder, and then followed up by the Warriors at the Lakers, even though LeBron's not playing, right?
No LeBron.
LeBron has been, dude, he's every day it's a new story that's like, yep, I don't really like him as much. Like this Russell Westbrook, this latest thing is like, yeah, I get what Russell Westbrook is saying. Like this is what it seems like. He seems like he's two different people publicly and then behind closed doors. It's like the whole Russell Westbrook situation last year where he basically was trying to sell him for Kyrie Irving and then act like he wasn't. I don't know. LeBron's had a weird last couple years in my opinion. So I'm ready for him to hang it up. He's not going to. But yeah. Agreed. He's out for the first month.
I know we're on a little bit of a tight schedule, so just wrap up this podcast with the Prep Spotlight presented by the Jacobs Insurance Agency. In high school football, Corunna got win number 1 in the FML crossover against Kearsley Friday night, 38-20 at the Nick. Ruger Zeman had 149 yards, 3 touchdowns, and led the D with 9 tackles. We talked about it last week. It was good to see Coach Bell to get off the snide, get the W as they head into week 9 for that rivalry game against Chesaning, the old MMB trophy on the line. So
the trophy's been located.
That trophy's been located, but I think I was talking about the Owasso Corunna missing trophy that we've never seen. Right?
Again, why is there not a trophy for that game? It's kind of crazy. I mean,
yeah.
Also, Ovid Elsie spanked New Lothrop, a little bit of a surprise, 56-25. Quarterback Owen Long, the coach's son, threw 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. And in cross country, Owasso's cross country boys and girls won the Shiawassee cross country champions meet in Corunna. The girls were led by Abby Crandall's first place finish. Leo Erforth led the boys with a first place run. So boys took home first place hardware in the Flint Metro Stars division as well. Congrats to the Trojans. And one final one here in swimming. D3, number 8th ranked Owasso beat Corunna, winning 11 of 12 events in the pool. So congrats to the Trojans. All right, guys, let's get out of here. We just want to tell everybody we're brought to you by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on Wellness Center happenings. Our other great partners include AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Shook & Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair and ALS of Michigan. The next Castle Game of the Week coming up this Friday, I mentioned it, Corunna at Chesaning, the old MMB trophy on the line. That'll do it. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind, and thanks for listening.